Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. Halo is a game that needs no introduction. It's one of the best first-person shooter games out there, with an amazing storyline and gameplay. The Halo universe is extensive and goes beyond the game. The lore is incredibly deep, and the books add even more depth to the story. The amount of books in this series can be daunting, but I've always wanted to explore them. Recently, I started reading the first novel, and I was blown away by how well written it is. If you're a Halo fan and you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. The book sheds light on the origins of Master Chief, Cortana, Halsey, and other Spartans. It provides excellent insights into the events leading up to the game, and in this video, I want to discuss the plot of the book and why it was so well written. If you haven't read the book yet, be warned, spoilers are ahead. I want to thank my YouTube channel members before we get into this, but let's go ahead and dive into Halo: The Fall of Reach. The Fall of Reach is the first book ever released in the Halo series. It was published on October 30th, 2001, about a month before the game's release with the launch of the original Xbox. The book serves as a direct prologue to the story and helps to develop some of the universe's mythos. The writer Eric Nyland was given only 7 weeks to write the novel. With such a tight deadline, one would expect the book to feel rushed. However, what Nyland delivered is a story that is highly important and influential to the Halo timeline. It has even inspired movies, a TV series, and of course, the Halo Reach video game. I read the original 2001 print version and will not be covering the 2010 or 2011 editions that coincided with the game. However, I am interested in reading those one day because those have updates to them. But for now, let's get into the Fall of Reach's story. The story begins with a prologue that employs the usual plot device of starting a story out with action. It takes place early in the Covenant War and shows the terror that the Covenant brings, making it seem like insurmountable odds. The story sets up the enemies, such as grunts, being like dogs but armed to the teeth and ruthless. Although they are the weakest of the invading Covenant aliens, they fight to the death and overwhelm their opponents. John 117, also known as Master Chief, fights alongside other Spartans. In this brief section, we learn about their suits, which enable them to coordinate and attack together. Through this coordination, they take down a Covenant ship and thousands of enemies. The prologue is only 9 pages long, but does an excellent job of setting up the military action that will follow. In the very first section of the book, Reveille, we find the true beginning of the Master Chief's story, and we're introduced to 2 important figures in the Halo universe, Dr. Halsey and Jacob Keyes. Jacob Keyes is a military leader and one of the characters you end up rescuing in the first video game. Dr. Halsey is a more mysterious figure in terms of the first game, but she is the one responsible for creating the Spartans, of which John 117 is a member. Keyes is unwittingly pulled into Halsey's mission without knowing the exact details of what is going on. Halsey is traveling to a far-off planet to recruit children for her Spartan program, which involves kidnapping children and turning them into super soldiers. On this planet, Halsey spots John playing King of the Hill at school. We see that John is extremely strong, and after a coin flipping contest, we learn that he is incredibly lucky, which explains his tenacity in surviving events in the game from this point to the newest entry. This section sets the foundation for the character development of John, who is the protagonist of the book. One thing I appreciate about the lore of this game is its dark themes. The Spartan you play is a child who was kidnapped, and the government is fully aware and complicit in this. They pretend to disapprove of the idea, but allow it to continue. The project is ultimately successful, but at what cost? Children are taken from their families and cloned, while their loved ones are left unaware of what they've lost. The children lose their entire lives as they know it. I admire the level of darkness in this setup and how it's not a typical glossy sci-fi future. As we delve deeper into the book, we learn more about the consequences of these actions. In the next section, titled Boot, we see the training of John and other Spartans on the planet of Reach. They are being trained by Officer Mendez, a strict leader who pushes these children hard. One of the most memorable scenes in the book occurs early on when John has to complete an obstacle course. Though he is the strongest and comes in first, The goal was to work with Sam and Kelly, two other Spartans, and both of them come in last, leading to John's ultimate loss. However, they have to do it again, and his leadership skills shine through, and he motivates everyone to victory. Sam and Kelly become two of his best friends throughout the rest of the novel, and Kelly in particular is well described in the book as a tall woman who is incredibly fast and can move around almost unnoticed. This becomes a valuable skill when they are assigned a mission that involves taking on adults. With John as the leader of the group, he rallies everyone to surprise attack the adults, ultimately earning him the title of squad leader. However, not all of the learning is about action, and they also learn battle tactics from an AI named Deja. Deja is a type of dumb AI that is only intelligent in one field of study, rather than many. All of the training goes well, but one of the darkest pieces of the Halo lore occurs when all 75 of the Spartans undergo an operation to augment their bodies to be stronger. Many die or come out permanently disabled, with only a fraction of them actually coming out stronger and faster. Though it takes some getting used to, their speed increases, and now they are stronger than any human. Yet the real question is at what cost all of this comes. We get a great passage on how John takes on ODSTs that are bullying him and he beats them up. One of the best things about this book is the introduction of small elements like ODSTs that wouldn't be fully explored until later in the games. The lore was there and building, and it makes this book not only a fun story, but also a great piece of world building. After all of this, they take on a mission to kill rebels, and they do it successfully. And John questions his place in all of this and the implications of what he's doing. However, he has his orders, and he will get them done no matter what. It's at this time that the Covenant-Human War begins, and is seen as an insane force using plasma weapons that can destroy UNSC ships in seconds. Even if the ground warfare could be won, space warfare was almost always a loss for the military. Their space travel was too advanced, and this leads to the UNSC fighting in what seems like an unwinnable war. There are victories in this book, but the writer makes sure it's known that even until the last chapter that this feels like a losing battle. This war makes it so Spartans are deployed earlier and leave training to receive their Mjolnir armor that will even further enhance their capabilities. On this trip, they are attacked by the Covenant, and John actually takes out the ship from the inside in a well-described action scene. Unfortunately, Sam has to be left behind by John. John realizes that there will be sacrifices in order to win this war. In the next section, Sigma Octanus, we are deep into the long war between humans and Covenant, and the military has lost many of its ships. The Cole Protocol has been enacted, which means that any data on your ship must be removed if there are any Covenant around, so that they cannot obtain any government secrets or human strongholds. If there's any chance that the Covenant will discover the location of any humans, you must self-destruct your ship. One interesting element is that Jacob Keyes is not taken seriously by anyone in the book up to this point, and he's sort of stashed away. However, he takes on a gigantic Covenant ship and becomes a hero. In a chapter that isn't from the Master Chief's perspective, we get to experience the Keyes Loop, where he swings the ship around and drives directly into a Covenant ship, destroying it without any AI assistance. This maneuver earns him high regard and the rank of Captain Keyes, which we see him have that title in Halo Combat Evolved. Meanwhile, the Spartans are ordered to infiltrate the Covenant overrun planet of Sigma Octanus and figure out what the Covenant are looking for. They are then ordered to nuke the place. The progression of them finding the Covenant does a great job of slowly introducing the enemies that you will fight in the game. On this planet, they discover hunters. They also find out about engineers, a floating Covenant that isn't explored until a little bit later in the video game series. Master Chief discovers an artifact that seems to be of major interest to the Covenant and takes it, while the rest of the team rescues civilians before they set off the nuke to destroy the planet. Afterward, everyone gets back to Reach, and Naval Intelligence debriefs Master Chief, informing him that the artifact, which is a rock, is not tied to the Covenant, but to a race that existed before humans or Covenant. This section of the story is my favorite part of the book because it not only has a well-written action with elements like learning about the Keyes Loop, but also builds up so much story that sets you into the universe. The book is an effective marketing tool, but it's also just an excellent sci-fi story. In the fourth section of the book, I was surprised to find that a significant portion of the story does not actually take place on the planet of Reach. Initially, I had assumed that the book would follow the plot of the video game, but I soon realized that the game was more of an expansion to this book's story. Section 4 serves as a bridge between the previous section, which ended with a massive battle, and the next section, which focuses on a new mission. In this section, Oni sets up a plan for the Spartans to take the Pillar of Autumn to the Covenant homeworld and kidnap a high-ranking prophet. This is a pivotal moment in the story as it sets the stage for the events that follow and in the video game. It's also in this section that we're introduced to Cortana, an AI modeled after Dr. Halsey and is a smart AI with a vast knowledge and lively personality. She's one of the most important characters in the Halo universe, and her introduction here is a significant moment. We get to see Cortana and Master Chief work together to take on a deadly obstacle course, which includes missiles, mines, and other hazards. There's also hints that Dr. Halsey has feelings for John, and that's through Cortana, who really admires John. Overall, this is a crucial part of the book, setting the stage for the events that follow and introducing us to one of the most beloved characters in the Halo universe. At the end of this section, it feels like it could be the end of the novel. The team heads out towards the Covenant homeworld, but right before they leave, disaster strikes. The planet of Reach, which is one of the most protected and last bastions of human civilization, is currently under attack by the Covenant. The Covenant's massive fleet of over 200 ships is relentlessly destroying the planet's turrets. In response to this threat, the Pillar of Autumn is called back and the Spartans split into two teams. One team goes to the surface to fight, while the other, led by Master Chief, is tasked with erasing the database of a UNSC ship that has not gone through Cole Protocol. The ground force's fate is unknown, but it is later revealed that they have all died. This event serves as the foundation for the game Halo Reach, which further explores what happened on the planet's surface. The book follows Master Chief and his time on the ship. The area is overrun by Covenant forces, and an elite fights John in zero gravity. The book's writing on this fight is fantastic and creates a tense battle. Although they achieve their goal of wiping the ship's memory, Spartan James is left floating in space, and another Spartan named Linda is dead. Master Chief brings Linda's corpse back and puts her in a cryo chamber, hoping to one day bring her back to life. Everyone else is presumed dead, and Reach is ultimately lost. The Pillar of Autumn departs from the destruction with a complete loss. The book ends on a very somber note, and it holds true that this battle would be filled with sacrifices, and the book makes you feel like there is no hope of a win. The final section of this book is very brief and serves as a direct setup for the game. The Pillar of Autumn has managed to decipher the coordinates found on the earlier discovered rock artifact, which leads them to Halo. Cortana and Keyes are prepared to awaken Master Chief to help them figure out the nature of this mysterious object. And that's it for the summary, and I hope all of you enjoyed it. Of course, it's only a summary, and I would encourage you to read this book. There are small moments of camaraderie that build Master Chief as more human than some of the games would make you think. The introduction of Halsey and Cortana is great for setting up further implications in the Halo plot. It's obvious that Bungie had a huge vision for the series, and from the first piece of Halo media, there is so much love and thought thrown into it. I immediately wanted to turn on the first Halo game and run through it, so I'd say the book did an excellent job of making me want to play the game, but read more of the books. I hate that I waited so long to dig into this because I'm so interested in the further plots that get fleshed out in the Halo series. Yet the first one here is going to be hard to top. It's wild to think that a book that was rushed to release set up something highly important in gaming history and one of the most beloved gaming worlds in it. But that wraps it up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. I would love to keep doing more of the Halo novels and maybe get more in depth with the plot of these. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Also subscribe to keep up with the Retro Xbox content. Thanks for sticking with me with this kind of oddball book review. I know this is a gaming channel, but it's something I've been interested in trying out. Also, I want to thank my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.